Welcome back. We are here for Hearts of Camelot, Prince's Bride, episode 7, our finale. So, just a quick previously on. I believe we have two characters trapped in the Fey realm. And then we'll find out where the other characters are while this is happening. So, if anybody wants to go ahead and start real quick, and then we'll lead right into the hopefully confessionals. We'll see. What do you remember happening last time? Or at least where we ended last time with your character?
So, uh, Roderick and Riesling had followed Llurywenn, who had run off into the forest and accepted a deal with the Fae to become uh like part of the forest for a bit. Uh, and the two of them went after her. There was a whole musical number, and Mosray, the Fae creature leading Llurywenn, kind of said, "Oh, hey, this is interesting." Um, and I think we were at the point where Llurywenn was emerging from her hiding place in the forest uh, to speak to Roderick, and Mosray had also emerged to speak to Riesling. It's all my brain's got.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of why I have. Were some drama going on in camp, with little, and then that led to Princess Llurywenn running away, thinking that, well, people can't fight if she's not present, because that's
Mhm.
how things work. And while all of the confusing conversations that were being had with Roderick were happening, that's she disappeared. Um, we went Roderick and Riesling went searching for them. Found a dead end path, and from there just worked out that there may be something supernatural involved, and Riesling suspected it may be Fae, and suggested the musical number, as before mentioned, to draw out this Fae, and that apparently worked better than expected, because now we're trapped in the Fae in the Fae. And I believe we have to speak truthfully if we ever want to escape. That's what I remember.
Yeah, I think from Lurywenn's side, there's not a whole lot to add. She had a conversation with Perin where Perin kind of pressed on her to not be, you know, ignorant or callous with people's feelings and say the truth if there is a chance for them to be mutual. Which Lurywinn wasn't like, no, that sounds like too much work. I'll guess I'll just run off into the forest to not deal with anything and also save all the people. Because yeah, that's how it works. Because obviously all the bad guys would immediately know that she's not there and not attack anyone ever again. Um, so she ran off and then I believe right now Perin and the lieutenant from Archaud are searching for them as well.
Yeah, Archaud's men showed up and, he was like, we have to go rescue them. They're lost in the woods. Because Perrin learned about a prophecy from Gowder that the only way that the spirit hawks are going to come back is if our two kingdoms are joined. So he's very eager to see that happen. Out of guilt, mostly.
Oh, oh man. I mean, love, guilt, all the fun emotions. Absolutely. I will point out that this is the beginning of the session, so mechanically, if you have any um, dilemmas marked from last time, unmark them, clearing them out. And this is also your opportunity to rewrite them as needed. What you think you want to hit, or you can use towards a roll for later on in the session. Okay, so that's the reason to do that at this point. Um, and then, of course, if any bonds change, then please go ahead and change those, because they will, may fall into place in your dilemmas as well. So just think on those as we go along. All right. So as said, as stated, then we have Roderick and Riesling finishing up that beautiful ballad musical number, almost going into the dance phase, but luckily not, because Masre and Llurywenn have emerged from the forest. But the forest is not letting any of you out. I think the forest knows that there's some stuff that still needs to be said, or whatever, before it's going to let go, because it has been a very engaged audience this whole time.
Did you want to start with Roderick and Llurywenn? Yep.
I think the forest will create different groves, I guess, like recesses, where the branches will kind of go through and create this lattice work of shaded areas and such, separating Masre and Riesling, and from Llurywenn and Roderick. So
Okay. As Roderick finds himself in this secluded area and just staring at Llurywenn, Llurywenn, you can see that he looks haggard. Like he's still got remnants of blood on his armor that he couldn't quite clean away. Uh, he's got streaks of dirt down his face that you can see from the crying. You can see that he just looks so tired and more than a little lost. And he stares at you, uh, at a loss for words for just a moment, and just I can't believe you're here. And you see the hand come out as if he wants to touch your shoulder and make sure you exist. And he stops himself and the hand comes back down. And he just says, "Why did you leave?"
Because I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch all these people dying because of me, but more than that, my father once told me that it is very likely that you would die for me, and that it would be your greatest glory to die for a princess. But I saw you out there, and I could not see the glory. I could only see the fear.
Your father is a wise man, and he is right. For you, it would indeed be glory. But, and at this point, Roderick just he stands up and kind of shows his hands, and you can see the crusted blood down his armor, and the spot where he has ineffectually tried to clean it up. And was this glory? All of these people coming after you. Was this glory? I know how many people I hurt with my sword to prevent them from hurting you. And yet, none of them managed to lay a hand on me. None of them managed to hurt me. You have managed that all by yourself. I wanted that. It would have been a glorious death. Your father is right. But if you wanted it, it would have been an even more glorious life. It still could be. But that choice is yours to make. And every time I try to say something, you're gone again.
Choice. Maybe that's why I ran. Because it seems everywhere I go, everywhere I stay, people make choices for me. I am not strong like you. I am not talented with a sword. I can only run. That's the only true choice I thought I could make. To leave. But there is no one who can tell me what honor or glory is. Or there's no one who can tell me who to be or what to say. But you're right. That is a choice that I made and that hurt you. Because I think that's the real truth of it. There are some choices that I cannot make, and then some that I can. Maybe I cannot decide who to give my hand to in marriage. But Sir Roderick, I can decide who to give my heart to. And she hands over the token. She says, and that is yours. It always has been.
You see the relief on Roderick's face as he takes it and, looks down at it, looks up at you, and like kind of conspiratorially whispers, I'm keeping this. You can't have it back. This one's mine now. Like puts it away. Uh, and he will stare at his shoes as he searches for the words, and then he looks back up at you and says, I have not a token for you, unless you want my sword. But know that I gave you my heart a long time ago, and it has been yours all these years. If you but say the word, it will be yours evermore.
I think she's quiet for a moment and says, I think I've always known that. I think that's what frightened me so. Such power you gave me. Your heart on your sleeve and right mind for the taking. But if I said anything, would I not put you in the position to dishonor your brother, your family, your kingdom? So I thought it was safer if I just pretended not to see it. By being so scared to hurt you, I think that's exactly what I did.
My honor is my choice, just as I choose to deal with my brother and my kingdom. I understand your fear. I understand the consequences that await us. But we've been dancing around each other and the consequences for quite long enough. So, if this is what you want, we can speak to Archaud. And we shall see what consequences lie in wait. But that is a choice we both must make to face those consequences. Are you prepared for that?
I made a promise to my kingdom, to my father. I can't dishonor them. But I think as I am to become queen, my heart shall always be heavy with the choices I will have to make. There will be many burdens that I shall have to carry that I cannot give to anyone else. And I'm afraid that if my heart is already heavy with the loss of you, I will not be able to carry it. So if I am to become a queen, a true queen, can take care of her people, I think I can only do that with you by my side.
For that you shall have me. This time he actually does reach out, like, to take your hand, if you will let him.
Yeah, I think she kind of like as you reach out, she kind of like matches the movement almost immediately and takes your hand.
He's gonna kiss the back of your knuckles very demurely, but that's also the way he greeted you at the very, very beginning. Uh,
Mhm.
but this time you can tell that there's so much more intent behind it than just a casual flirt.
I think the wind springs up in this particular grove, and it is so wild and so strong that it sounds like the branches and the leaves are clapping.
Oh.
And through the lattice work, I think you and Mazre Riesling are either able to talk to each other or you're spying on Llurywenn and Sir Roderick. What are you doing?
I'm not sure. It's like I can't claim that Riesling has never spied on anyone. He was literally was his job to spy on the brothers for many years. So I can't see any reason why he would stop now.
Right. And I
Yes.
think like Mazre will join you, and you're both peering out through the lattice work of the branches, and you know, as they finish, and the the forest claps, and you see Roderick kiss Lurwyn's hand. Mazre will turn to you and say, "They belong together. Isn't it sweet?"
It is. I fear that everything I've set out to do is in shambles, but it most certainly is.
Why? Why did you set out to do such a thing?
That is that is my task. I've my companion sent my I am my I am for whom I'm familiar has goals that he seeks to achieve, and I most this most certainly does not fit into them, as at least as I believe. But it seems that we're beyond that now.
Has he
There are
told
no
you?
goals.
Has your companion told you?
I I have not seen the Magister in quite some time, but I know that is what he sought when last I spoke with him. This is what he's been working for many years.
Maybe things have changed. If he has not come back to tell you whether the goals have been reached, wouldn't it be wise to think that maybe the goals have changed and maybe that is no longer the purpose?
I'm afraid that he hasn't returned because something's happened, and that would make me the this his legacy. And if something has happened to him, for me not to see his lifetime of efforts run to completion, I I don't know if I could live with myself.
Well, if you couldn't live with yourself, could you live with me?
He like stopped. It's like when it stopped where he just like turned and looked like, um, huh? What do you that did I miss something? I,
I,
um,
I knew you were. I knew who you were when you came into the forest. You were in disguise. You obviously wanted to come and breathe the air that we breathe, see what we're about. I know you saw me. I
yes, I
was
saw
following you.
I I did see you, but I I couldn't. I couldn't. I had I have goals. I had work. It's important. I had important work that needed to be done. And when I did try to go see you, that's when they came for the princess. And then I couldn't very well make the put my desires before my goals again after something like that happened.
Well, she's safe now.
That is true. She is safe now, for at least for the moment.
Well, when we reach that peak, as they say, and the ceremony is done, then you are no longer under any obligation, yes?
I believe you're right.
So you can create a new life, new goals. Come visit here. The forest will have you. It will provide a home, and if you want, we can spend time together.
Oh, I do love the forest. I mean, that seems like
nice.
And having someone to spend time in the forest would be nice as well.
I think you would have fun here.
Well, I'll have to. I will trust you on that. I believe you likely know the forest far better than I do, so I'll probably need a guide. And you seem like you would make an excellent one.
I know my way here. And then her face changes as her ears perk up and she hears some voices approach. And I think you end up hearing them too. And, after stealing a glance, like, through the lattice work, I think you'll still see, like, Sir Roderick and Llurywenn, like, gazing at each other very deeply. And, they don't hear anything just yet. But Masray and Riesling do. It is the voices of Perin and the lieutenant and the group sent by Archaud. So.
Yeah, it's kind of muffled, but it's like, the tracks end here. This is Roderick's horse. They must be nearby. Keep looking.
Masray will turn to you and say, "Lost and then found again. Do you think I should come with you? Or should I stay in the forest?"
Well, I would love if you came with me, but I'm not sure. I'm uncertain. I think I don't know if I need to if my disguise will even be helpful at this point or be hurtful.
Only you can decide. I can't do that.
I know. I'm
Oh, look, the forest seems to be releasing us now. And I think as she says that, like, you start seeing the lattice work release, and then the branches kind of just like float apart as if it's like the breezes that are just kind of like, oh yeah, it's like it's opening up, and and the lattice work releases for Llurywenn and Roderick as well. And then I think you do hear the distant voices of Perin and the lieutenant.
Well, so Riesling looks like he's very trying to make a choice, and what he does is reach out and take Morcy's hand and said, "Well, I've always made a better Riesling than I ever did a Magister. You should come with me."
You look better like that anyway.
This grin, he like has a big grin on his face.
And I think when the branches part, Roderick and Llurywenn, I think you're going to see, well, Riesling's true form, and he's hand in hand with Masray.
Yeah, Roderick looks to Riesling sees Masre and then just big smile. Because Roderick's very much like to Riesling, thank you. And like the effervescent joy of Roderick is emanating off of him. So he's just very happy for the moment.
But you do hear the voices coming closer.
He, yeah, takes a deep breath, looks to Llurywenn. Just, are you ready? We have company.
So it seems. Let's do this then. And I think she like kind of goes towards the voices to show that she's okay and that they don't need to continue searching. And she gives like Riesling like this look like, who the hell are you? But obviously like not the moment to get in of it. But like she's assuming this is a friend of Masre because she's never seen Riesling. So she
Exactly.
has no idea who
Well,
Riesling is.
keep in mind, Riesling is still the only clothes Riesling has are the Magister's clothes, which are way too big. So
Yeah.
Riesling
Literally,
like
like-
Riesling is shuffling along in Magister Alacritus's
It's
clothing.
only like Roderick's like clearly affectionate and fond and like this is not a threat at all reaction that she's kind of like, okay, I can put this on the back burner, but she's like,
Like,
okay.
why does he have Master Alacritus
What the
clothes
hell is
on?
all of this?
So we can have a brief transition scene of like, Perrin, you do see your brother and Llurywenn, and you recognize Riesling, of course, and then someone like, a creature that looks like him that he seems to be hand in hand with while he's wearing
First, I think he
clothes.
says like, "Oh, we found you two. Thank God that you're unharmed." And then maybe some of the knights start to react like, "Oh, what creature is this?" He says, "Hold, hold. This is a friend. Please. We're very glad to see him too unharmed. And I'm certain that our friend had assisted with our brother and our new sister's return."
I think at this point, Riesling will like probably what use magic to make the clothes adjust so that he doesn't look like a child wearing his dad's clothes anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like, yeah, as you say, Perrin, it's like, probably behind you you heard everybody reach for their swords, but then like, they calm down like once you are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so we can fade to black as everyone goes back to the caravan, and Gowder and Sir Bart obviously have some very strange looks on their faces, like what's going on, who's gonna clue us in, all this kind of stuff. So we can fast forward to the approach to the camp. It is it is on the way to the actual peak itself. So it's on the mountain, but they can't camp too close to it because it's like, the sacred nature of the spot and all that kind of stuff. So they have camped there. You will spend time there the night before, and then make your way during the day the next morning to get there for the ceremony at dusk. But I think at the camp, Lieutenant has and his men have escorted you all, ensuring safety. And I mean, however you want to do it, like Masre and Riesling are there, and explanations have been made. We can totally say that has happened. When do you let everybody in on what Gowder said, Perrin?
I think I would actually ask to speak to all of them, all together, Llurywenn, Roderick, and Riesling. And, maybe we have a tent set up, or maybe it's Llurywen's tent. Can I tell just by looking at the two of you that you are in love essentially at this point, or?
For Roderick, yeah. Like, he's not a very good actor, so, like, you can tell.
Poker face.
Yeah, so I think he
Yeah,
says something
I
like,
think Llurywenn is like more controlled and like more princessy, but like that desperation, like that anger that you saw in the carriage, like that's gone. But she's like, I think a little less obvious than Roderick just by her nature, but you could probably put it together, yeah.
yeah, so I think Perrin is sort of like, friends, my heart is in so much turmoil. I have learned news of great import, yet I fear if I tell you, it will upset the new happiness that I see between us all. And I love each of you so much that it pains my heart to reveal this information, but I feel I have a moral duty to tell you. My lady, I don't know if you were informed ever, but our family committed a terrible, heinous crime. The beast of this land, the magical beast, the spirit hawks, were driven away for no other reason than our mother wished to have their land. And Gowder, our loyal servant, revealed to me that were our families to be joined, this terrible crime could be amended. The spirit hawks would return. I know how you feel for each other, but I beg of you, consider, is there any possible way that you could still, I know how much pressure we put on you. Uh, it's not fair for something that our family did, but if you could still consider joining our kingdom, we would love to have you as our sister and work together to amend this terrible crime. He's just
I
like
don't know if that's
desperate at this point.
yeah. I don't know if this is a prevail upon or if I can just like answer.
It's up to you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is, I don't think Perrin is like, trying to
Mm,
charm or intimidate you into making
yeah.
a decision.
I think
It's just,
in that
Just kind
case,
of pleading.
Llurywenn, yeah, kind of like glances at Roderick and says, and this was the wording of the way to amend this crime, that Escavalon and Avanyddyd must join families.
That was all that Gowder expressed to me, yes, but our conversation was brief. I was hoping to ask our friend, well, Riesling, is it okay if I he's like, can I reveal that we know each other? Or
I think at this point everyone knows who I am except for soldiers. So I hiding the secret is no longer relevant. But could I out of character? Could I gain insight as to how practical that plan of them being married with bringing back the spirit hearts was, or would there have to be something more? Like, is this like this marriage would be some magical thing, or if this marriage is the spirit hawks wouldn't get killed if they were joined? Could I do gain insight to figure out?
absolutely, because, like, if you roll well, then what that means is that you recall, like, the magical lore that Alacritus had taught you, or you remember seeing something in one of his books. Yeah.
can I help?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend destiny to get Blaze's counsel. Others can rely on you for sound guidance. You can roll plus wise plus one to help someone by giving them advice or sharing knowledge.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to tag my new dilemma. I can't let protecting the magister's machinations place the princess in any more danger.
Perfect. Okay. So that's a +1 for
Yep.
towards this roll.
All
All
right.
right.
So do I get Do I get
Uh,
a
6
do you roll
plus
first,
3.
Perrin? I think you have to roll first for,
yeah? Okay.
you know, maybe you pull something
I
out.
got an 8, so you get another +1.
Okay. So this
I
is
have to give
gain
you a little
insight.
bit of misfortune too, so give me a second. Misfortune on Perrin.
I've read about prophecies at the Abbey, but you would be the expert, Riesling. Any way that I can assist, I can try to call upon that lore.
If they, yes, that actually gives me a thought. Hold on, as I try to type in the
So +1 plus your +1 plus all this stats you need with the 2d6. Oh my god. Oh, and just to
a
recall,
12.
nice. Okay. So, Brother Perrin, you could choose to spend some destiny to not have any misfortune whatsoever.
Nah, bring it on.
Lovely. All right. Awesome. Hold on. Give me a second. So, gain insight. Harken back to your memory, Riesling. And I think the camera's going to fade into a flashback where Alacritus is at his desk and he is looking through his books and scrolls, and this is like way back when everyone was still children. And he's telling you about his plans and like all the things that he needs to do and crafting things and all the things he's going to show and teach you. And one of the things that he mentions is the legend of the Spirit Hawks. How such a shame it was that Queen Vivienne had, in a fit of pique, decided that the land no longer needed the Spirit Hawks. But there was a chance. There was a chance to make amends by the peoples that had nurtured and cared for the Spirit Hawks in time immemorium be joined to the family that betrayed them, betrayed the Spirit Hawks. When they join, then at a magical ceremony, at a magical ritual that has to take place on such and such a date, at such and such a time, at such and such a place, at this peak, then it will imbue the magic again, allowing the Spirit Hawk's essence to renew and be reborn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this to everyone present.
Roderick will interrupt and ask, "You're sure about the wording?"
I'm certain that is in fact the wording. There is, of course, fine details that one get lost to the writer of these manuscripts, and they may have taken some liberties in because of their particular writing styles. Sorcerers are known for that, but that is the wording.
I think the misfortune that you find, Perrin, is that as he speaks, as Riesling speaks and recalls this memory, I think you remember some kind of like illustration in your book, and you flip back to the one about the Spirit Hawks and the purported version of it. It's like someone who has lovingly like recreated what they actually look like with gilding and fine paints and such. But I think there's a notation underneath, and I don't think it was you that had scribbled this in. Maybe it's torn out from a manuscript or something. But you see that there's wording that says something about a sacrifice needed.
I think he keeps that to himself because he's like, well, clearly I will just martyr myself and I don't want to burden my brother with that information. So he focuses more on, if only there were a way for our kingdoms to be joined without forcing our princess into a marriage that she does not feel love for.
I think this is the tent that they have created for Llurywenn. And like, you know, like her essential quarters or whatever, with a foyer or what have you. And I think at that moment, as you know, you finish relaying this memory and about the prophecy, I think at the tent flap comes Archaud. He is tired looking, but he is tall and broad. Just and he looks at you with eyes of, well, as much neutrality as he can put into his face, but I think there's a little bit of worry in his eyes as he looks at you, Llurywenn. And he kind of pauses in the doorway. Your Highness, as he bows a little bit.
Llurywenn also like scrambles up and bows to him.
I hope that my brothers were able to give you all sorts of comfort and security in your travels.
They have done their duty well and kept me safe.
Has like a shy smile on his face as he hears that, and then he looks towards his brothers and will stride over to them after bowing a little bit more to you, but he'll stride over to his brothers and then take you both in a hearty embrace. It's like, you know, I think he's as big, if not just slightly bigger than Roderick, you know, so he's able to kind of like do that whole, like, you know.
Yeah, and I'm like rail thin, so
yeah.
Tiny in comparison.
Right. Yeah, so he's got that like football player's hug. And then yeah, he's like, oh, it is such a relief to see you both. Are you injured, brother? And he sees like Roderick with like the blood still on him and such like that. You haven't had a chance to clean up.
Yeah. No, we're fine. It's not my blood. I'm very glad that we made it in one piece. You can see Roderick's kind of like, I was not expecting to be hugged. I'm very glad, but not expecting to be hugged. Kind of out of character for Archaud. And then he kind of pulls back and like looks at Archaud a little bit and says, "Are you all right?"
In all honesty, I've been better. It's been, is it too much to say heavy is the head that wears the crown? And he whispers to both of you. Vivienne has passed. And he can't keep it hold anymore. I mean, I think you see like tears start to stream down his cheeks.
You see Roderick like eyes go wide and he kind of like stumbles half a step back. And like,
I don't think he lets you go necessarily. I think he still tries to hold on to you.
Okay, then like you can see the kind of flinch and just like the can I roll endure heartbreak for this?
Yes.
My
yes.
mom just
Yeah,
died.
I think I need to too. Like Perin was already feeling super guilty and having trouble looking at his brother, but just hearing that he's stunned.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
I am gonna cry. Oh my God.
What's gonna happen if we fail?
Yeah, what happens if you lose it? He's doing all he can to keep it together, but you can't help but notice like there's tears in his eyes.
Yeah, if I fail, Roderick is going to like hug Archaud and just weep, just completely ignoring their surroundings and Llurywenn and everything. Just nope, we're gonna grieve.
Yeah,
Perin is gonna want to talk to him privately and unburden himself with all of the guilt that he's been feeling.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Enduring heartbreak.
Yep.
So finally, only at +2 with this, I think.
God.
I have rolled a 6.
I got a 10.
Jesus! Oh my god. Okay.
Yay!
Okay.
So
and you're-
I keep it together, and I think
Yep.
it's just because I have so much loyalty to Llurywenn and Roderick now. It's like, okay, I want to reveal all this, but this is not my place.
Yeah, I think
so I just lean in and hug my brother. Like I grieve with you.
Yeah, I think you see his strong, broad shoulders like just droop and just like, fall into your hug because, he's with his brothers now, so he can kind of let it go at this point. And then
Perrin
Roderick,
can actually let it go a little too. He's like
oh
tearing
yeah,
up
yeah.
and
Like you're all
Yeah.
like weeping. And then like, Roderick, you can let loose if you want to, because
Yeah,
God knows.
Oh God, yeah.
Well,
I think.
oh, don't forget, you get XP. You failed.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, hey, that fills my XP track. Okay, I'll deal with that in a sec.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what Roderick does is he just he hugs Archaud and like puts an arm around Perin and just like lets his head hang, and you can see him cry, and like camera focuses on like the dust of the floor beneath them. You can see teardrops hitting the floor. He's very quiet about it, but you can see his shoulders shake with the sobbing. And he just spends a moment just like that. And like he knew it was coming. Like he knew. But with everything else happening, he didn't think it would be quite so soon.
Take harm to one of your virtues, please, for that misfortune. I think as Llurywenn is ushering everybody else out of the tent, and the brothers are grieving, if you two, at least you two or whatever, three, want to have a scene or so, or you just want to like just leave the tent? What do you want? What do you three want? What do you and Riesling want to do?
Oh, I think Riesling would just probably go up and put a hand on Perin and Roderick in Archaud, because from his perspective, he's effectively been spying on them so long that he has this social relationship with all of them, and then he will leave them to their grieving.
Perin would have squeezed your hand a bit before you left.
Mm-hmm.
Llurywenn, what do you think?
I mean, the drama queen in me wants her to sort of like very instinctively, like seeing such grief on Roderick, have like reached out for him and like in a subdued way, but in like a way that's very clearly, like too affectionate, and then like reel herself in and be like, oh, no. But I think like sort of that instinctive moment of seeing him like in so much grief, I think maybe before you lean in or something, or maybe like when you sort of write yourself, I think sort of without really thinking of it, she would have reached up to your cheek and like wiped some tears away. And then like immediately realized like, oh no, that's not a normal thing to do. And then I think like, yeah, like do it and like, fuck. And then just kind of like go out. Like, whatever, maybe if she doesn't put attention on it, right?
Perin like coughs a little bit. It's like, yes, the princess has shown much care and affection for us as well, and returned our protection.
Damn.
Just like,
And your heartbreak too for
yes.
for seeing if I can extract myself.
When Llurywenn does this, I think like you see Roderick kind of lean into her for just a sec, and then it's like, oh wait, no,
your brother's right there.
I know, but he's also grieving.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just like that, like just that super emotional, instinctive. Like it's just a second, but it's like, oh my God, my lover is in pain. I must comfort.
Okay.
Yeah. What happens if I miss into your heartbreak? So I don't want to interrupt this moment. I think that Llurywenn is like put together like enough to like know that, right? She's not going to insert herself in that. But if I fail, I think I'll sort of like wait right outside. And I think like as soon as they're sort of done and Roderick comes out, I will try to comfort him more.
Okay.
Like it's sort of like that very obvious, like nervously waiting in front of the tent so that everybody else can see like something's going on, and then Roderick's gonna come out and like
Sure.
that kind of vibe.
Sure. Absolutely. Go ahead and I already have two ideas for the misfortune, so I'm hoping
Yeah.
for fun on my part. But go ahead, roll.
Let's
It's your heartbreak.
unmark this. It's an 11, whatever.
Oh, we need a provision where you fail. Oh man. Okay. That'll be
Yeah,
my
I think
comment.
in that case, she's just kind of like realizes enough, like, let's just have them have their moment and we need to discuss this with. Or maybe not. Maybe this isn't the most important thing right now. I have other things to do, like she'll
Yeah.
just leave them to it.
Sure. Play the opposite system. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, you're both out of there, and then the brothers are grieving, and that's the camera shot that we see as the tent flap closes, and the brothers will come out, and it is starting to go on to sunset and verging into twilight as everyone makes camp and um, prepares dinner and such, meager as it is, but I mean, it's just temporary. Um, and then looking forward to the ceremony tomorrow. I mean, maybe there's not like full on trestle tables or whatever, but I mean, like everybody's around the big campfire and such, just having a quiet meal. And, maybe certain people are breaking off to um, have little talks or whatever. I think you all see that Humphrey is here, and Gowder has immediately, of course, like sat next to him, and they're just kind of like joking with each other. Humphrey looks like he's been like kind of bandaged and what have you, and there's like a bandage underneath his cap. But he's talking animatedly to Gowder, and Gowder looks very happy. And Gowder's ankle is wrapped up as well, so he's not limping as much, but he's still like not completely healed yet. And
Perin kind of smiles at that because he's like, I helped both of them. And this is what happens when you help people who are in love. And then he starts to think about that. Well,
yeah. But I think you will see that there's a tent set apart from the rest. Well, actually, there's a couple, obviously. Like, there's one for Archaud, but there is one separated from the rest that no one has come out of just yet, although there are guards outside of it. I think you'll recognize the symbols of the Abbey.
is Archaud nearby? So
Yes. Archaud is like, he's still looking at he's kind of by himself a little bit, and he'll look alternating between looking into the campfire and then alternatingly looking at Llurywenn with a little bit of question, longing, but then right back at the campfire as he just, kind of eats his meal in peace. Yeah, he didn't have much to say to you both. I mean, like, obviously it was just like a we're grieving. It's quiet. It's just that was heavy news that I had to give to you, and I have nothing else at the moment to say.
I think Roderick did have one thing that he wanted to say to Archaud and Perin.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, he's gonna have Perin with him mostly for emotional support. Perin's cool with that.
yeah, I think I was going to head to Archaud to warn him about the bishop, but then I'm like, Roderick.
Yeah.
As usual, we're converging on the same location.
Yes. I think you can contradict me if you'd like, but I think between the two of them, we might convey that our little caravan was beset on the road, and like Archode can see that Roderick's covered in blood and it's not his, and Roderick's just explaining, no, we were attacked. It seems we had a traitor in our midst, potentially multiple, and like looks to Perrin to explain about the bishop.
I hate to burden you further, brother, at this time of grieving and import, but Roderick speaks true. The bishop is no friend to us. He has made multiple attempts on the princess's life or person, and you would be wise to arrest him before we proceed further with this marriage.
I don't even know what to make of this. I mean,
Believe me, I was as shocked as you are. But
what
we have...
kind of proof do you have?
He pulls forward the, amulet that he gathered from the brigand. He's like, this was taken from one of the hostage takers in an attempt upon the princess. It specifically comes from my Abbey. And there were some words said by another hostage taker in a previous attempt that led us to believe he was a religious man. It is not proof, but taken together, it is very strong suspicion.
And he looks very earnestly at you both and says, This is very disturbing news. I have to tell you, most of the men here, they are not my men. They've been hired by the bishop in the sense that we had the full Abbey's support, including the martial section of it, and if I were to accuse him, then there may be few friends here among us.
We shall stand at your side, brother. Roderick himself is worth 20 men. I have seen it. And my faith is stronger than ever, stronger than this false bishop. And we have made new friends in Riesling, who is a family friend, or even though you may not have known it. And the princess is as strong and brave as any here. And her words echo through the ages.
I have never seen a faith so strong as Perin's. Through all our family professor's religion, Perin, yours is the only time I have ever seen it proven. And this is a big deal coming from Roderick. He doesn't give two craps
for sure.
about your religion.
Yeah, he's like, he looks over, really? You really think that?
Oh
yeah,
my God.
really.
Amazing. But
And
I think like our show's gonna be, but why? I mean, for what purpose would he have to move against the princess?
Who can say? Oh, Roderick.
I want Roderick to roll gain insight.
Sure.
I want to know how much Archaud already knows and if this is just an act. Like, if he's in cahoots with the bishop, I want to know before we tell him anything more.
Got it. Okay, fair. Do. No, I'm just trying to think because I don't remember. Okay, roll plus wise.
Oh, geez, my 0 wise. Okay, this is just on the dice.
Do you have anything that you can apply from your dilemma or anything like that from a move or dilemma that you can use towards this roll?
Yeah, my main dilemma is love for Llurywenn conflicts with doing my duty to Archaud. So, oh, and the other dilemma, Roderick's love and care for Perin, spurring his dislike of the bishop. They both apply.
Yeah. There you go. You can totally mark those if you feel like it's going to apply. Just know that once you mark it, you cannot use it again for something else if you're going to use it mechanically. You know.
I'm going to help with courteous because I feel like we're both talking each other up.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So Perin, do your help.
I got an 11, so you're
nice.
Okay, perfect.
All right. I'm going to mark the one dilemma, the one about the bishop and Perin.
Okay. Perfect.
So that gives me, it's my roll, and then +1 from the dilemma and +1 from Perin.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Oh, nice. All right, so that's 10 on the dice +2, so 12.
Perfect.
Nice.
Gain insight.
I guess the question is, can we trust our brother, or like, did he already know about this betrayal before we even told him? Or
Yeah, how much does he know about the bishop? Does he seem like he's just playing along?
No, he seems earnestly to have not known that the bishop had any um, ulterior motives. I mean, he essentially was a good son and just kind of like followed along through where this was to be a gesture of joining kingdoms as well as the. I don't know if he knows about the true prophecy though. Like I think it was just something that was agreed upon by Vivian and then of course Llurywen's father, that should happen, but I mean, like, it just takes on like a sacred ceremony because of happening on this peak, you know. So he may not know the full extent of the prophecy itself. He just knows that this needed to be done at this point in time here at the peak, and he had no idea that the bishop was um, in any way conspiring against the kingdom, supposedly, right? So,
Roderick kind of looks between Perin and Archaud and says, if it is time for truth, there are a few more things you must know. And specifically, he goes, we were beset on the road by mercenaries who professed they had been paid by the wizards.
by the order?
The Order of the Stars? Sun and Stars? Roderick in character struggles to remember the proper
No.
Oh,
noun.
sure, sure. I mean, he's not gonna remember that kind of stuff. He's not into factions, but Archaud remembers because I mean,
Yeah.
like, it was Alacritus's order, and was.
Yeah, Perrin's eyes go wide because I don't think even he was aware of this.
Mhm.
That
We
is
had
most distressing news, brother.
Xena, you remember Xena? She's playing us all along, mercenary working for these folks. They too tried to harm the princess.
Wheels within wheels.
I knew there was some kind of courtly intrigue. I mean, how could I not? These have been factions that have been working with Mother for years. But, oh, no.
Brother,
I failed. I failed our mother in the kingdom. I did not take these seriously. I was trained to deal with courtly intrigue, but I had no idea. I had no idea it ran this deep. They were waiting until she passed. And now, the precariousness of our situation is just weighs upon me.
For the moment, we have prevailed. Roderick kind of looks over his shoulder at where Llurywenn is seated and just, the princess is here. She is unharmed.
Yes.
and they are not aware that we are aware. We have knowledge that they do not. And that is a strength in and of itself, brothers.
True. Forewarned is forearmed.
So, you spoke of mercenaries amongst your men. Be aware, they may have other loyalties.
Indeed. Which is why I worry about, as you say, arresting the bishop and for conspiring against the kingdom. He did say he was going to prevail upon you, brother. And he looks at you, Perin, to officiate the ceremony. Were you aware of this?
Perhaps this is a discussion that I must have with him, and in the process, discern his motives.
I hesitate to
Though,
let you go in by yourself. Essentially the lion's den, if it were.
Brother, given everything that has happened on this new information, do you even wish to still be married? Perhaps it would be best to delay. And he like looks over at Roderick.
Roderick kind of echoes the question. Archaud, leaving aside your duty and the weight of the crown and the weight of the kingdom, do you want to marry Llurywenn?
He smiles a little and doesn't look at either one of you as he says, I remember her as the prettiest thing that I've ever seen, and it seemed almost terrible to admire her from afar. And she didn't seem to like me very much, I suppose. I'm not the most exciting, and I was afraid that she would not remember me, at least with any fondness. I worry about that still. Do you think she wants to marry me? I mean, it's all well and good for the kingdoms, I suppose, but not well and good if she does not want to be my wife or my queen.
Roderick
just like
winces.
a long sigh.
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like wringing his hands there as he puts his forearms on his thighs, and is just like looking
Yeah.
outward, not looking at either one of you, just kind of
Okay.
contemplating the princess's, image in his head.
Yeah, Roderick does the, oh, okay, I'm gonna say it. And he just says, Brother, do not repeat our mother's mistake. She followed her duty, and while it made her successful, it did not make her happy. If you do not think Llurywenn would make you happy, then you, as the king, can make that choice. Maybe you have been committed to this arrangement by our mother, just as Llurywenn was committed by her father. And neither of you were consulted in the matter. Perhaps you should decide for yourself whether you want to marry her. Let her decide for herself if she wants to marry you. And if you both do not agree, perhaps save yourselves the heartache.
I
Feel
think
this is a discussion which must be had between the two of them and possibly Roderick. So if you are not averse, I will excuse myself.
Graceful exit.
yeah. And he's just kind of like absent-mindedly nods as he's still looking away from you both. And then he contemplates it and says, I think I need to speak with Llurywenn in private to see if she even remembers me. I mean, it was so long ago. This is duty. We both understand duty. But, yes, I should see the choice of her heart.
You see Roderick wince yet again.
I think I need to see her now. You've given me much to think on, brother, and I appreciate it. I'm just sorry that it led to this. This newfound closeness comes at the cost of losing our mother at this time. Wish me luck.
I think Roderick is going to stand guard outside whatever tent they're both in.
Alrighty. So, I think this is where Archaud will like leave you and go find Llurywenn and have a talk. But I want to check in. Who wants to have a talk with whom? Sounds like Riesling wants to have a discussion with someone, as well as Perin wants to have a discussion. Which
But
combo do you
I
want
can
first?
wait because we just had a really long scene, so I want one of the other players to get some spelling.
So, Riesling, who do you want to have a conversation with? And Llurywenn, do you want to have a conversation with with Archaud?
I mean, yeah, Llurywenn should obviously talk to Archaud. I also had a thought of maybe like a very short scene with
Yeah.
Riesling, like
Oh,
maybe
good.
while the brothers were talking.
Perfect.
Just
Go
like
for it.
a very short sort of thread to follow up on.
Okay.
And other than that, I think, yeah, after that conversation, Llurywenn will probably just kind of get involved in whatever intrigue is going, because it also centers like around her and who wants to kill her a lot. So she'll probably set herself up as bait or whatever is
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe Riesling feeling the need to offer an apology to Archaud for the absence of Alacritus, but I don't really have any goal in that other than to do that. So I'm not sure if that is worthy of a scene.
Could be a narration and such, you know,
Right.
as
Yeah.
because
I
maybe
mean,
like
if Riesling is in like Llurywen's tent and we have our conversation and like Archaud comes in,
yes,
like maybe you could have like very quickly that and then
yes,
Okay.
perfect.
That works.
yeah, I think Llurywen, like maybe, you know, like as I was kind of ushering a Riesling, like let the boys grieve for a moment. So maybe like I took you to the tent because I wasn't like sure what else to do.
And I think Musray's
And I
attending on you, Llurywenn, just to have
mm,
something to do.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think for this conversation, maybe I like she's gone for a second because I think it would be a bit awkward if there's like someone like lurking who wasn't involved. But I
Sure.
think there's just like this moment of quiet for a little bit as I don't know, Llurywen is like getting utensils ready to write a letter to her father or something, and she's kind of busying herself with that. And I think without really looking up at Riesling, she says, "May I ask you why? Why were you so afraid to tell me the truth?"
I was afraid to tell you the truth once I presented myself as Alacritus. He was supposed to be on the journey, and it would have been a great insult if he hadn't attended. I was more concerned about the appearance of Alacritus, the absence of Alacritus, that I did not want to foil my own ruse, so to speak.
I see. His absence does worry me greatly. He is not one to not be exactly where he wants to be. So I suppose I choose to believe that even now, he is exactly where he wants to be.
Yes,
It just go ahead.
I worry that whatever his last expedition was, that he met some unfortunate fate, which I don't know, but have I had no idea where he was or what had happened, and if something had happened to him, I felt even more obligated to see to his goals, which have long been the peace of the lands and the return of the spirit hawks. I just didn't know how he intended to get to the point, and now this trip has made a few things actually connect together.
Perhaps you were the point. Perhaps that was the plan all along. To have you be here. And if you be the key.
Hardly. I can't imagine anything I would be able to do that would help.
I admit that I have not spoken with you much, or at least not when knowing the truth. But it seems to me that Brother Perin is very fond of you, and takes your advice, even as you are now, very seriously. So it seems to me that you know exactly who to be and what to say.
I suppose I just I must admit that I don't necessarily always agree with Alacritus, so therefore trying to guess at what his plans are can be difficult at times, at the best of times. And so playing the role of Alacritus was challenging. I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing, because I believe if I did what I thought was best, things would not have gone nearly. They may have gone worse. They may have gone better. It's no way to really know. But I do know if I showed myself at the beginning of the journey as Riesling, you would not have seen me the same as someone with the Magister's stature.
Perhaps not. But please know that you would have been welcome, Riesling, as you will forevermore be welcome at my home, wherever that may be.
Oh, I appreciate that. Those are kind words. But I think I will be accepting a different offer of a home. And he kind of looks at Morrissey.
I think the princess just smiled at that, like happy that you found something. And for me, that's like a good way to cut the scene, unless you have something more to add.
It's like nothing really to knock on, but I mean, I think Archaud will kind of like.
I imagine if there's like someone standing guard, like what
Yeah.
they do is like have that person like, thrust their weapon in the sword in the sand, or like make some kind of noise to kind of
Yes.
announce a person.
Sure. Yeah. Like probably like, use the weapon to kind of open up the tent flap, and it's like.
I think again,
His
like she
Majesty.
immediately stands up, says, "Your Majesty."
Oh, please don't. Our mother's passing is just so recent. It's even hard for me to realize. I am just Archaud to you, Your Highness.
Archaud, then please be welcomed. And I like usher him and allow him to come in.
Oh, I should take my leave. But before I go, Archaud, I am sorry. I am Riesling. And I apologize for Magister Alacritus's absence. And I was here in his stead, for whatever that's worth.
No need to apologize, Sir Riesling. If there was anything that Magister Alacritus needed to do, I mean, it's my confidence that he would have been here to do it, and you did your best to be in his stead. And as far as my brothers are concerned, you were helpful in all these incursions to try and kidnap the princess. And for that, I thank you for being there for us.
Of course. And I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Thank you. And he will just kind of...
I'll nod to him and then to Princess, and we'll go take this leave.
And so there's our show, like filling up the front of your tent, and tall, wearing dark colors, of course, because of what happened, and just looking at you with, again, that look of shyness, questioning, and maybe a tiny bit of longing.
Please sit down, and at least as long as we are alone, I would insist that you two simply call me Llurywenn.
Llurywenn. It's been a long time. And he will take a seat.
It has been. I am truly sorry that we meet again in such grievous circumstances.
I appreciate that. She was a good queen, doing her best for what she knew. And I have to be a good king and do the best that I can with what I know. But I have to admit, I do not know you well, Princess. And I don't know if this is what you truly want. I know this is required. I know this is a duty that has been put upon us since we were children. And I am hopeful that you could learn to love me as I would love you. Maybe that is too forward. I'm sorry. I should be more.
No, please. You may speak freely. At the very least, I would love to be your friend.
Do you remember when we used to walk in those forests? I would try to ask you what you were interested in, and I admit I am not the best at seeming to be interested. And for that, I apologize.
No, not
That was
at all.
silly.
No. I remember you as a very passionate boy. A very earnest one. You were always trying so hard to be perfect. You were always trying so hard to show everyone just how much you loved them. And I think it was hard for you. Because how do you show so much love before it becomes too much, too overwhelming, before it all starts looking like there are no words and no actions for it?
There are no words. That is true. And he looks like he's trying to say something, but he doesn't know how to say it. And so instead, he will take out, with shaking hands, something from a breast pocket. I've kept this for quite some time. And I don't know if you remember this at all. Perhaps it is sheer folly. But he takes it out, and it is a pin that looks like a stylized dandelion. I think this was yours from so very long ago. You left it, and I kept it, and I didn't know. I meant to give it back, but you never seemed to wonder where it was. I'm glad to have the opportunity to give it back to you.
Can Princess Llurywenn gain insight? Like,
Mhm.
Because all of this is like, do you want to marry me? But she's like, do you want to marry me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
or do you also just feel like you have to?
Right, right, right.
So I think she would love to gain insight and see
Sure.
like how does he feel about all this? Because
Okay.
it's gonna change how she approaches it, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so he is one of my um no
Dilemmas
wait, hold up. Gain insight is wisdom. Yes, it's
wise.
wisdom. But I do get a +1 or secrets, which I feel like this at least now he's kind of trying to keep that a secret, like how he truly feels about
Yeah.
Llurywenn.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Take that advantage for sure. Okay.
Um, nah, if necessary, I'll just mark destiny. Let's go.
Okay.
But that is a 12 in total.
Okay.
No, 13 actually, but whatever. Yeah, the question is, how does he feel about her? Does he want to marry? Like, does he love her? I guess is more the question, not does he want to marry her?
He's had a crush on Llurywenn for quite some time. That's why he kept the pin. But
Well, that is the
he's
most
he's
awful answer.
but he's torn because he doesn't know if he's fallen in love with you or fallen in love with the memory of you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you can see it on his face. He's just like, he doesn't want to be earnest about it. He doesn't want to lay it all on the table because he's not sure if he's honest about what he's laying on the
Mhm.
table. It's like it's the most awkward thing ever because he's kept this thing for years.
I think as he sort of like reaches out to give it back, she closes her hands over his and she says, "You are right. It has been such a long time since I even thought of this. I am not that girl, Archaud, because I was a carefree girl who believed in fairy tales and that all choices that were good would be choices that were easy. I was a girl, but now I am a princess. Now I will be queen one day. I may yet learn to love you, as I think in time you may learn to love me. But I ask you this, do you want love to be something to be learned, something that we must try for? Or do you want to know it in your heart to be true?"
Do you still have your hand over his?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to feel like him shuddering, like his hand is trembling under yours as he says, I don't know what I want. The truth. The truth would hurt, I'm sure. But does that mean I would be living a lie? What I want is to make sure that you are happy. If you choose not to marry me, I understand. As much as it pains for me to say so. And that look of like longing is like right in his eyes, like naked as the day his baby was born, you know? It's like, but he just tries to get himself together and just be like, I understand. Could you
She
not, but he does ask you a question. Could you not learn to love me?
she leans forward and presses a gentle kiss to his forehead. And when she leans back, she says, "No, my heart belongs to another, and I may give you my hand in marriage, but I can never give you my heart. And if that is how I must live, I will live like that. But I will not then start that marriage with lies.
There are tears peeking at the corners of his eyes, but he nods. I understand. And I will not have my queen live a lie. Please, take this pin, not with any meaning on my part, but as a return of your property. And I do wish to be your friend, Llurywenn. And he will bring your hand still on top of his to his lips and give you a gentle kiss on the back of your hand.
I think her eyes are like tearing up too, because she just feels like so awful and so sorry for him because he is such a good person. And she does like give him a shaky smile and says, "That you are, Archaud. You always have been."
I don't know what this means. There needs to be a ceremony joining our kingdoms tomorrow.
I just want to check out of character. Do we want to, by the way, the guy that I'm in love with is Roderick. Do we want Roderick to be present for that? Because I don't want to say that.
I don't know. Okay, so Roderick is standing guard, like right outside the door.
Like you can hear this. This is a
yeah.
test.
Yeah. So
okay?
Roderick might have been the guard who announced.
Oh
Archaud.
shit!
Yeah.
Okay, so who's enduring heartbreak right now?
Everyone.
Llurywenn is.
Okay.
I probably should have done that before I gave Archaud my answer, but yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
You're muted, Jonn.
No, you're still muted, dude.
Sorry,
You're muted.
Jonn, were you?
I was just saying, it's probably like a chain reaction of heartbreak that start at the kid rolls across the camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't roll, but I mean, like, I feel like Archaud needs to roll some your heartbreak too.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Oh my god. Now what happens if Llurywenn loses control?
Yep.
I feel like I should have done it before because I feel like her losing control would have been like her cracking and maybe like lying to Archaud, like, no, I'm totally into you. But I don't think like that would have made sense for Llurywenn. So let's say if I lose control. God, I don't know.
Someone just blurt out, "I'm in love with,
Oh shit! Yes,
or Roderick."
Like let the honesty roll.
Oh boy.
It's the finale. I mean,
Yeah. Go big or go home.
Yeah, I guess, but that feels like so mean. That feels just like really mean.
There's a slightly more like subtle way to say it of, well, there is a way this ceremony could happen. And that's...
Yeah, I was leaning more like maybe, I don't know, like in like an effort to be well-meaning to him, like she's like basically going to offer him something that's like very well-meaning but like very insulting. Like sort of like a participation prize, Or no, wait. No, if we're going with Roderick heard it, then he heard her reject him, because I was gonna say otherwise she'll give him like a goodbye kiss, and that's like when Roderick walks in.
Right.
Oh my god!
Do it!
But
Okay,
if you
okay.
endure
Yeah, let's say that's
heartbreak,
what I
you would
do.
say it in a less tactful way, though, right?
True.
It's so blurting it out if you fail seems like the not good way, but the way you would do if you lost control.
Yeah.
Or like a more tactful
But I feel
way
like
would
that
be...
might be Roderick's option for failing
Yeah.
Okay.
heartbreak.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
you're gonna
yeah,
butt
yeah.
in and be like,
Oh,
oh my
yeah,
god, my
that's
brother,
true.
it's me. So I'll go with the goodbye kiss, because I
Okay.
think that's like
Okay.
a very impulsive, emotional thing to do.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that
that
works
sounds
completely. Okay. And then like, like Roderick, if you take that of like, but I'm like like the blurting out, that would be great.
Okay, let's see.
Roll some endure heartbreak, people.
See, now I'm regretting fulfilling that much destiny.
No, do it.
Do it.
Okay. I have rolled a 9. So
I have rolled what is it? What is my unfulfilled destiny? Hold up. I think it's a 10. It's a 10, whatever.
Keep it together. But oh my
Okay,
god,
keep it together, but there be misfortune.
there be misfortune. Yeah. I
But
will
I
have the
do feel like
misfortune, but
Roderick needs to step in here.
yeah. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So go ahead and do your thing. But I mean, like, I know what the misfortune's gonna be. So
Oh boy. Okay.
go for it.
Yeah. I think Roderick, he pounds the weapon on the floor so you can hear the knocking. And he'll step in and like look to Llurywenn, look to Archaud. And
Brother.
he's just like, you see him wince. And there is yet another truth I owe you. And reaches into his armor, pulls out Lurwyn's handkerchief. 'Twas I. I'm
How could you do this to me?
sorry.
I asked you to protect her.
At this, Roderick looks a little, like offended. It's like, I did. I brought her to you, whole and unharmed, despite the myriad people trying to capture her and kill her. She stands in
Please.
front of you today because of me.
Please
I
do
did
not
my duty.
do not let this come between you. Archaud, your brother did nothing except exist. He made no dishonorable advances on me. He did nothing to dishonor his promise to you. It's simply that my heart chose him.
He looks like he's about ready to explode, but then, like, his shoulders slump. I know. I think I've always known. You two always seem to gallivant off and have adventures out in the forest. I wanted to take part so badly, but I couldn't. Felt I had a claim, and that's ridiculous. But I guess hearing it is the most hurtful thing that I've heard in quite some time. And he's looking directly at you, Roderick.
Yeah. Again, Roderick's just like wincing.
I do not blame either of you.
I'm sorry. But I could not let this continue without revealing the truth. 'Tis not a good precedent to start a future upon a lie.
I did say I did not want my queen to live a lie. True. I must think on this. I don't think there can be a ceremony tomorrow. But I will consult with Perin and see what he thinks.
Can I try before he leaves to prevail upon him that we must have the ceremony for the Spirit Hawks, or do you want to keep that for Perin?
I don't know. What do you think, Perin? Do you think this is more appropriate
Oh,
for...
I'm about to pop stuff off in a different way. So if you want the opportunity, you probably should take it now.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I think given also the time we have that this is where action starts. So I
Oh
think
yeah, no, no, no.
that's
This
probably
this
makes
is
more sense for me.
this last 20 minutes. This is where or hold on. The last half an hour. It's like I want to roll
Yeah.
with a whole bunch of shit going down now.
Exactly. So I
Okay.
think
Wow.
like Llurywenn will take Archaud's hands if he lets her. If he pulls away, that's also fine. But she says, Archaud, I understand your heartbreak and I understand how much I have caused for it. But there must be a ceremony. This is not about us. It's about the world and the balance and the spirit hawks. Your brother would only confirm this. Please, there is time for grief and time for heartbreak, and trust me, despite this, I have much that grieves my heart too. But there must be a ceremony, because that is what kings do. And I would like to prevail upon him. And like his sense of duty, like, I know you're hurting, but this is about your kingdom and you
Roll-
need to be strong now.
Roll with courteous, and of course, like lean in with your actual move too, as well.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So I have,
courteous, doubling down, and all that.
yeah, he's one of the people in my bond, so +2,
hmm
+2 more. You know what? Fuck it. We're going all in. I am marking my Archaud Roderick love thingy. This feels like a good way to do it.
Yup.
So that's +3, +5, -1, +4. I have been ashamed for this whole campaign.
Oh my god. Okay, go ahead. What do we got?
Nobody ever cleared this. But that's still I said
tried and you
+4.
ran off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What's the
That
result?
feels incredibly Llurywenn, to be honest.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god.
Radical's
What?
appropriate.
I will
Yeah.
hate myself no matter what you say. That's a 10.
Nice.
You can't make me.
Wait, after all that, it's a 10? What the hell?
I didn't roll that great.
Oh my
I
god.
rolled
I
a
rolled
6
a
on the
2.
dice,
Oh,
+4.
Oh my god. I would have been so happy if you had failed.
Yeah,
But anyway.
but I do it.
Yes, you do it. And what reason? Okay, so you gave him a reason to cooperate because of the whole
Yeah, the
king.
reason I give is basically like this is about, like the whole of your kingdom and
yeah.
also your other brother, who hopefully you're not really mad at right now, who really wants you to do this.
I mean, he's got to think on this. He's got he gave the news that his mother died, and then now he finds out that the woman he's
honestly,
loved is
your
like,
biggest argument is like sort of the excuse of like stop feeling
yeah,
and just do your duty,
Do your
let it
duty,
all
yeah.
behind you, just do the kingly choice, which might be very tempting in like this emotional turmoil, like
Yeah.
I can just repress all that and do like
Okay.
a kingly thing.
yeah. I think he realizes that because then he squares his shoulders, after hearing that, and he just kind of like straightens up and then just gets like this kingly posture and just kind of looks at you both in all seriousness and very businesslike and saying, "You are right. It is about kingly duty to not only my kingdom, but also yours. And all we can hope for is just a union. Consequences be what they may. I will shut my feelings away for this thing. But I'm sure there will be consequences after this ceremony, this farce is done."
That sounds like a banger line to cut to whatever Perin was wanting
Yeah,
to hook
what's
up.
Perin doing? It's like,
Brother Perin is marching with purpose directly from the campfire to Bishop Samon's tent. And if he's blocked by the guards, he will say, like, I demand to see the bishop immediately as a member of his order, and as let me through. And Riesling, you probably see this whether you're invisible or he's just talking loudly. But yeah, he wants to march into the tent and confront the bishop.
I think like from inside the tent, it's like, please, please, please let him in. And then like, you know, the guards will like release their spears or whatever. And then like, you know, you can enter into the tent flap. And it is opulent in here. There's some really nice rugs. There's like a desk, you know, like some tapestry like things from the monastery even to just kind of like stake his claim in here. And he almost has his fingers steepled together as he waits there sitting at the
It's
desk.
that vibe, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, Brother Perin, it is wonderful to see that you and the others have made it. And you will officiate the ceremony tomorrow. Isn't that wonderful? Tell me, did you succeed in your mission of faith to the princess, convincing her to allow the faith to be preached in Avanyddyd and bring their people into our fold?
He just like stares at him for a moment. It's like, how dare you? How dare you? You talk about faith, you talk about the people, when you attempted murder with kidnapping. How can you call yourself a man of faith and do these evil things? And now you come into this camp and put my brother at risk on the day before he is married? What kind of a man are you, even? You are no man of God at all. He just launches into him.
And Bishop Saman just like, you know, the slow smile is curling across his face as he kind of leans back in his chair and then gets up, very poised, very tall. And he comes round to your side of the desk. What kind of person am I? Who are you to say this? You who has been interested in such things as a bestiary of things fantastical and magical existing in our kingdom. I am a man of faith. I believe in the word of our God. And the word of our God says that those that believe will fall under our sway. And those that fall under our sway will bring us prosperity and fill our coffers. You must think in business terms, boy. You are a brother of this order. Where do you think our prosperity comes from? It is tithing with kings and queens and lands, and bringing others under our faith. Who are you to call yourself faithful when you seem to not believe in those that hold authority in our order? Be careful. You may be the son of a queen, but can just as easily have you furrowed away in an abbey, far, far away from the seat of power, as those that are feeling more ambitious will rise in your stead. Is that what you want?
You do not understand me at all. If you think any of these things could sway me, you may know the words of our holy books, but you have lost the spirit of them. You have no morals, no feeling, and if anyone shall be cast out here, it is you. And he takes out the bones of Saint Adamus from his robe, and he's gonna like try and have a faith battle with this guy.
Nice. I think as you like, you know, as you start to take these things out, I think he's kind of giving you like this like rather evil look on his face and saying,
Hmm.
"Oh, I have been quite faithful. In fact, I have been so faithful that I wanted to make sure that the word of our God had taken precedence over any of the arcane beliefs that our queen has had. Why else do you think I had her destroy the spirit hawks?"
I have learned that the magical creatures of these lands are made in God's image too, and you speak false poison in my ears, and I will hear it no longer, and no one else will, for that matter. Yeah, I think he's done listening to this guy, and he just wants to go into the fighting him.
Okay, so high stakes contest of power, speed, intelligence, influence. Choose a virtue appropriate to your approach for the conflict. He is higher level than you.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. So, give me a second.
I guess wisdom would be appropriate.
Oh yeah, yeah. Be like, this is battle faith, wisdom, that sort of thing for sure. And so let's see. Virtue on a success, you don't lose outright. Choose one. Okay. So, and do you have anything that you want to use to help you with this battle?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I got an 11.
Oh, nice.
What do I want here?
Choose
though?
one. Temporary is temporary victory and costly. Flees, saves face, or otherwise survives, mark 1 destiny, or you battle to a draw, but you've learned so much about your opponent. Reduce their level by 1, mark 1 XP. What would you like?
I kind of want to set someone up to deal with him.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if he flees, could he flee out like into the campground or something and pop things off with his guards?
Sure.
I don't want to just like defeat him or whatever.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah.
I can.
Okay.
I mean, I would help, but I don't know how Riesling would be able to help other than to talk from the side of the arcane, this seems more like a faith battle. So.
Oh, I failed. Never mind.
Wait,
I was
what?
looking at the wrong roll. In fact, I got double ones.
Oh shit, botch.
So forget all about that.
Oh my. Wait, what? Oh crap. Okay,
There's
botch.
a delay with the roll, so I was
shit.
looking at the one above it.
Okay, so botch. Failure.
Does he just like mortally wound me or something?
So wait a second, hold on. So mark 1 XP for failing. Oh boy, failing forward.
Yeah.
Yay. Miss fucking fortune. Ugh, gross.
I mean, I'm fine if like I don't want to just die because I have something in mind for the epilogue, but if you want to like put me near the precipice of death, I think that would work.
Oh, I mean, Riesling is here, so if he would actually die, I think I would do a defend thing.
Now wait, well, I mean, like, first off, are you present? I mean, like, are you invisible? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'd set Riesling up for that, yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so basically what's going to happen for your misfortune, like, oh boy howdy, I think, yeah, you fail. The misfortune is that, he is, you didn't realize it, but, as you're, like, saying you're not going to listen any longer, he's been advancing on you with his words as well as his person. And what you didn't see was him taking out, like a tiny ritual knife and then slipping it into your ribs.
Ugh.
There. So.
And I think that the bones like fall slowly out of his hand and like clatter on the floor as he kind of falls backwards.
Such a shame. Usually a bent tool is better than none. But it seems that, well, perhaps I can convince them not to get married, or some kind of furor with brother Perin, dear brother Perin, betrayed and unable to officiate. Oh, the humanity. And he kind of curls that evil smile on humanity.
I I think at that point, Re- Riesling would fade into existence.
Hmm.
I would like to do a defense roll.
Okay. Let's see.
Because what I intended to do was to tag my Guinevere, my I can't even remember the name of the skill now. I have to look it again. Hold on a second. Um, False Guinevere.
Hmm.
To have used an ability to have possibly save. I don't know if it would save it, but one of the abilities is to create illusions
Okay.
or glamour.
Okay.
And I'm trying to
Or, I mean,
find it so I
you
can
could
read the
even
word.
conceivably shapeshift and like, create something to, smack that biatch up, whatever you want to do. I mean, that is up to you.
Right.
But
Well, no, what I was thinking is like I would have used the glamour so that it wasn't Perin who was actually stabbed. It was
No, like
uh
I don't mind being stabbed because I have an idea for that. So,
okay.
but if you
Okay,
could
I figure
deal
since
with
you
this
could deal
asshole
if
afterwards.
okay, then I'll do that. It's like when this happens, I think I would have appeared and immediately maybe use magic to knock the knock the bishop down and away from Perrin.
okay.
And then most like it's I'm going more for it, like it being embarrassing to him than necessarily injury. So if like I like blasted him into his table and maybe he knocked him through into the tent and have that collapse away or something like that. I'm not really wanting to cause injury, but I figured that's setting up what Perrin was trying to get to happen anyway. But if I like blast him out of the tent or through the tent in a way, he would then be out in the center.
That sounds like apply force.
Okay, I will apply force then once I look at how to do that.
Roll plus vigorous.
Okay.
Or like, I'll even take act heroically and then you roll on the virtue of your choice.
I mean, I can apply force sounds right, so I'll do apply force. That's fine. I
Do you
mean,
have points in vigorous? That's my point.
here's my thing. I've only rolled in skills that I don't have points in, let's say almost this entire game. So if I use vigorous, I will have finally used something that I have a one in. So I'm
Okay,
all
all right.
for
I'm
you.
just saying. I'm just saying. Okay.
I have a
mean,
one in I have a one in agility and in vigorous, but all I use is wisdom
okay.
and courtly because I was trying to pretend to be someone else.
I'm
So
just making sure. I'm just making sure. So please go ahead and apply force. Okay.
yeah. So all right. Let me find a dice roller. Yeah. Oh man, it's funny. It's like this is the one few times I actually use a roll that I'm good at. 9.
Fine.
So that's a big success.
Okay. So tell me how you succeed with this, and then I will give you a little bit of a misfortune.
Okay. Let's see. I think in the middle of his smarmy monologue, uh Riesling was in one of the corners of the room after he snuck in quietly when Perrin was let in.
Mhm.
In the moment he stabbed Perrin and saw the knife and Perrin collapse, there was like a moment of shock, but then maybe overreaction as Riesling let forth like a huge, like almost a huge gale force of wind that took both him and the tent and several objects in that cone of a vicinity blowing away from Perrin.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to say that you get weakened because something happens, like, as you're applying this force to knock the bishop out of the tent and, tumble, like, toes over head, like outside. I think something knocks into you as the tent collapses and you're weakened. So mark that virtue, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, I probably look super villainous now, so it works out that I used my epic move villainy last session, which lets me ignore ongoing penalties from harmed virtues.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice.
Certainly to the bishop, right? He's like
All right.
talking about all these evil magical creatures, and then one just shows up and like blasts him with magical energy. Yeah.
I love it. So ironic. It's so good. So good. Oh my gosh. All right. So I think with the hubbub and whatever, I think, the bishop's guards like try to get into the fray, but I mean, like, we can kind of hand wave this given the time crunch. We can hand wave this
Should we
as.
have
Go
do
ahead.
something like, like the sun is coming up, so the ritual has to happen now, but the bishop is like all of that is happening sort of at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, like it's perfectly fine if we want to like completely like time wimey, whatever.
Or Roderick could just kill, bite all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I want to have just the one moment of the commotion is such that it kind of draws the three of us, so Archaud, Roderick, and Llurywenn. Like
Mhm.
all of a sudden, there's this overwhelming sense of, nope, duty calls. I got to deal with that.
Yeah.
And seeing the hubbub and seeing Perin wounded,
Oh yeah.
and like the ever-present threat, it's like, okay, we can hand wave it, but violence occurs.
Yeah, I mean, like, and even Archaud will draw his sword, and like you find out that he's pretty able. Maybe not as able as you are. So maybe he can only take on, oh my God, 2 opponents as opposed to 4. Ugh,
Oh
But
man,
like he's just as good. He's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good.
He was
he's
a
only
trained
used
warrior.
to
Yeah.
fighting
Oh, yeah.
entire mobs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Maybe there's even a
Good
situation
thing
where
Llurywenn didn't marry that wuss. Only 2 opponents,
Oh my
please.
but basically you two end up back to back, like Roderick and Archaud like end up back to back, and then he kind of like grins behind him and like kind of says, remember that training session with Adamus? Oh,
Oh, oh, yep, yep.
beset by all the gods. This is just like that. Oh,
Oh, he trained us well.
yes.
All right,
And then
so
like, yeah,
the
you do all
boys are
sorts of
doing
moves.
violence.
The boys are doing violence. It's all successful. Blah blah blah. And I think like after all the carnage is said and done, and even Gowder and Humphrey get into the fray, and like you see like a wild ferocity in Gowder. Like he seems to be spurred on for the fact that like Humphreys is now safe and sound. Um, Still bandaged up, but I mean like they're both like doing their best to help you all. And of course Sir Bart is like throwing people as well and all this kind of such. So y'all survive. Yay. And
Hey,
carnage in the next morning is pretty much it's like is um is the bishop dead, like
If Roderick is given the choice, the bishop is dead.
okay.
It kind of defers to Perin. It's like, unless Perin says don't kill him.
No, you guys can do what you want.
Okay. Bishop is dead.
Okay, yeah, I
He
think
just
like it.
stabbed my brother. Like,
Yes.
ain't no
Mhm.
way that guy is living.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine, It's like, and then like I think even Archaud will take upon himself to say something like, "It is on my kingly um, authority that I call you treasonous, Bishop Saymond." And says other things, but I mean like that basically like like seals the deal that anybody that was aiding and abetting the bishop is like considered a traitor to the crown and such. Yay. Okay, great. I need 3 minutes to buy a break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna epilogue this shit like to see what happens at the peak. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Carnage is done. Body's cleared. Kingly authority. I think maybe there's maybe Humphreys like acts like as a court clerk or something like that to kind of just like write down like what happened and why it had to happen and such, and like Bishop Saymond, I forget like the whole excommunication kind of crap, whatever, exile from the court, blah, all that stuff. But anyway, I think still reminded that there's a ceremony that needs to be had on the peak, Like you see it in the daytime now, like just a little ways away, simple pathway, possibly of simple stones leading up to the peak, the altar, the sacred space up there. And Archaud will look at you, Llurywenn, and say, I guess we're nearing time. And he will look at Perin and say, are you sure you're all right to officiate?
He holds out his hand weakly. Take me to the peak. I can still do this. It is what I am destined to do.
Roderick is just gonna scoop Perin up like Princess Carrie.
Archaud will actually look you in the eyes, Llurywenn, and say, are you sure you want this?
Yes. If I may follow my heart. And she kind of looks at the peak where Roderick is carrying Perrin to. Then that is where my heart points to.
For duty, then. And he will gently take your hand if you will let him.
Mm-hmm. And she will say,
you.
for friendship, hopefully.
He'll smile back.
And like let him escort her up.
Yep. And then Goucher and Humphrey will fall behind and just kind of like, kind of like watch your back just in case, who knows. Riesling, Masre, I mean, like obviously you can come along to the peak as well. Sir Bart, of course, is also helping with the making sure everybody is safe. The witnesses, basically. Yeah. And so you're at the peak, and you'll see it's this beautiful slab of marble. Somehow here it's set in the ground, and it is smooth and shaped, and there's like, two pillars to mark where there's a standing slab that looks like you can put a book, or you can, stand like a podium, and then of course a space in front of it on the marble slab that you all can stand.
I think just before things get going, Roderick is going to ask Llurywenn one more time. Are you sure of your choice?
Yes. Are you?
Yes.
The sun is starting to go down, but then as the sun turns orange and then shines on your faces, Archaud kind of like shakes himself out of a dream, and then just kind of looks at you, Llurywenn, even as he's holding your hand, and says, I can't allow you to do this. It is not me you want. It is not me you love. I can't. It would be beneath me as king to allow my subjects to do what they are forced to do. And he will take your hand, Llurywenn, and he will reach out for Roderick's hand and say, please, if there is any to be joined today, let it be two who need to be together. And then a tear rolls down his cheek, but he will take your hand, Roderick, and put it in Llurywen's.
As I said earlier, I would be no more pleased than to bring you into our family, to bless a union of love. And he's looking at Roderick and Llurywenn. Let us still join our kingdoms.
And Roderick just looks so incredibly grateful to Archaud and utterly besotted with Llurywenn. And I guess as Perin starts to officiate and like intone the ceremony, yeah, uh, he's just standing there, holding Lurwen's hand, and just I in my head, I'm imagining that there is some kind of magic that is happening around them as the ceremony
Yes,
gets going.
exactly.
Yeah, and like the magic kind of rises and you feel the breeze pick up and Roderick's still like just staring at Llurywenn, kind of
Oh yeah.
not
No,
paying attention to what's happening around him, just focused.
Masre's going to speak up and say, "There's love here.
Mm.
Look, the door is opening."
Mm.
So, paint the scene. As the officiation rolls to an end and Roderick and Llurywenn affirm vows to each other, what do you see? What does your character see as the sun sets, but then a portal opens in the set slab and spirits start to rise from it, from this open portal? What do you see, smell, sense?
For a moment, Roderick is way too busy kissing Llurywenn to perceive anything. I think after we get like past the "you may kiss the bride" moment, uh, looking around, I think it's okay. Have y'all seen the cartoon of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original cartoon from like 20 years ago? It's the bit with the dragons.
Sounds impressive.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Okay, so by which I mean, the last time a spirit hawk was observed in Escavalon was when it was being hunted to death. And it's been almost Roderick's entire lifetime since then. So seeing a spirit hawk emerge, one that is like full of life and still trailing the magic, I think it soars out of the portal and like circles around them, kind of in the same way Lily does, just
Mhm.
round and round. And like you can see Gowder staring, kind of eyes wide. Whatever magic is coming off the Spirit Hawk, you can see it echoed in the people we have noted to be a little fey. So Masre, Riesling, Gowder, Humphrey,
Yes.
Perin, Llurywenn.
Yeah.
Like you can see that it resonates with them,
Mhm.
and Roderick's just awestruck looking at this. He can appreciate it even
Mm.
if he's not fey enough for this to impact him like as viscerally, but he can still appreciate it.
I'm gonna be as sappy romantic here as I can. So I think like as Perin is officiating and like it starts to open and like this magic starts to happen, at the moment where you may now kiss the bride happens and like Llurywenn and Roderick lean in together and they kiss, the altar just bursts with flowers. And like these are like magical flowers just like creeping all over the altar up the cliffs of the mountain, over the trees like moss, with these iridescent, vibrant colors, these fragrances that haven't been smelled or experienced in years. Just this vivid pop of color and life just spreading out around and everywhere.
So I took a move called Ship of Solomon, and it says that ship can basically show up and take me somewhere important. So I think there is, through the opening in the marble, a rowboat slowly raises to the surface, and the pilot is Adamus in ghostly form, and he is just staring at Perin, smiling, and he reaches out his hand. And Perin is deathly pale at this point. His blood is still trickling down his chest, and he looks over. He's like, yes, you want me to go with you, but my friend's here. And he looks over. Yes, they'll be all right. That they'll continue to love each other and take care of each other. I want to go. And
Archaud's like
go
taking you
ahead.
by the arm. It's like, what does this mean? Why? Where are you going?
Perin,
It's
don't leave. Don't. Not now.
it's all right. And he puts his hand on both of them. I knew that for the spirit hawks to come back, there would need to be a sacrifice, but I did not realize it would be such a joyous one. I go to the great beyond to learn and find what waits for me there.
Joyous for you, but what about us?
And he takes their hands that were on him and he like puts them together. He's like, you must support each now and love each other now more than ever.
Always the rebel. And he just gives you this big brotherly embrace, like you're drowning in Archaud's hug. I mean, he's just Godspeed.
He turns to Riesling. Do you want to come with me? I can ask him to take you back after. But do you want to see what's on the other side?
I think he walks up to Perin and takes Perrin's hand and is just like, no, I can't go with you. But I do. What I want to know is Alacritus on the other side. He looks to I can't remember. What's
Adonis.
Adonis? Thank you.
Adamus will look from the bow of the boat and actually say, "No, little one. Alacritus is here." And he looks towards Gowder. "Stay and find out all you want to know." And he looks towards Perin and says, "Are you ready?"
And he just nods. And he steps inside of the boat. And as he steps inside, I think we see Perin transform from his tired adult self into the little kid again, who's overjoyed.
And I think one of the spirit hawks will circle like Lily does, but then like land in the boat and then look at you. And like, kind of like nuzzle your face.
Yeah, and he nuzzles it back and they take off into the sky.
And Gowder will, upon seeing your gaze on him, Riesling, he's going to smile. And he doesn't change or whatever, but I think you see like a superimposed image of how you remember Alacritus, and says, "I guess I am exposed. I can no longer be that person that you knew, my friend." And he looks at Humphrey and says, "Yes, time for answers, but let us get off this peak, and I will tell you everything you would like to know." As we watch the boat go, the spirit hawks fly out of the portal and fly into the sunset. But they will be back. They are back here in the land. And the lands of Escavalon and Avanyddyd are joined in joy.
I think what you see for Riesling as the spirit hawks are coming out of the portal is he will offer his hand to Morrissey, and he will start and we'll be like, it'll be very weird. Like, let me offer you a piggyback ride. And when she hops on his back, he runs with the spirit hawks, and then we'll jump and turn into. I think he turns into a smaller spirit hawk, and will join them as they fly towards the sunset with Morsi riding his back.
I think just as a little aside, she's going to lean down and say, "You will know my name in time. It is Masre."
Oh, I said more. Oh, I was saying Morsi. Sorry, I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. But I mean, like, that's in character that she
Okay.
says that.
I wouldn't have put her name in character though. Oh.
It's too funny. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Yeah. And then, yeah, so if I'm perfectly happy to do stars and wishes, or even give you a little epilogue of like how the hell Gouter is Alacritus, but you know, however you want to do it, because I know that some people have to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stars and wishes for sure.
No, I think I'm good. You know,
Okay.
I have time. So
Okay. Oh my god. Oh my
yeah, I
god.
teared up a little, dude. That's
Oh
awesome.
god, yeah. Oh my god.
Okay, I have to say it because I think we're all thinking it. Holy crap, Alex, that was amazing.
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
You did say it, and I was just like, I don't know how
Yeah.
to picture this, but it was great. So
I seriously had
fucking good.
Yeah, I had a weird Narnia-esque dream about it, and I was like, I have to find a way to get this to happen. So when I got stabbed, I was like, oh,
Mhm.
perfect, you know.
Mhm.
I was sitting there like, I was like, I'm pretty sure that parents not gonna make it. And I was just like, I was feeling something like this happening for Perin. Part of me was like, is he gonna die and become a spirit hawk? I just had this going. It's like I was like, I don't really don't want Perin to die, but I feel like with the whole need to have a sacrifice thing and all that, and I was just like, I see Alex hedging towards that.
Yeah, if I hadn't have got stabbed, I probably would have gone for the transformation angle. But you know,
Sure.
But I
Yeah,
like
fair.
that you followed up with turning into land. That's really great.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, everything was so amazing, you guys. You guys. So many stars. So many fucking stars. Like, you just this episode alone, but also, of course, across the whole series. So, emote away, because, yeah, my heart's in pulverized pieces. Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. Oh my God. So certainly for Roderick and probably Archaud, roll into your heartbreak for losing Perin, because and especially just for Roderick, like he just managed to reconnect with Perin. Perin's been away for so long, and like over their journey, they actually got to know each other as people, and like
Yes.
Perin's been his biggest confidant this whole time, and now he's dead, and it's like, oh, I
In
should
the
be
other
happy.
realm, you don't have to say totally. Not quite.
I'll probably
dead.
visit you in ghostly form at some point. It's fine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'll make Roderick happy. See ghosts.
Being haunted by his brother, yeah.
Oh my
But
gosh.
definitely an endure heartbreak there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
oh,
Mm.
so good though.
I really liked Archaud and how you played him, Mads. Like, again, like we talked about it the whole time, like we wanted him to be a fundamentally good person, so I think we hit the notes on that. And the scene with both the two of us and Llurywenn were really, really cool. Yeah, like all the NPCs this time were really excellent as well. I like that we saw the drama between Roderick and Llurywenn finally play out to a good conclusion, tie it up. Riesling and now I'm not gonna say it right. Mercy or
Masre.
Masre,
That's
right?
Yeah.
Their scenes were really fun too. So gold star for all of that.
Yeah, stars. Yeah, for maths. I really loved Archaud. I think you did really good with like letting him be just like this person who has like so much going on and is kind of buckling under the weight of it all, but like does really want to be a good person. And like he obviously did love Perin and Roderick like so much, which like kind of did make that betrayal of like, how could you? And I really loved that the first thing that he said was like, you promised to protect her, because it felt to me like he knew that's what Roderick did, but like that's the one thing that was going to get
Yeah.
to Roderick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like he said it specifically because he was upset and he knew what button to push. And I
Yeah.
thought like that was a really good way to sort of play like a brother, like who knows you so well that they also know like that's the thing that's gonna get to you. Because like saying something like, you betrayed me, or like, how could you love her? Like he knew like that wasn't really gonna get to Roderick. It was like, no, you didn't do your duty, you didn't protect her. Even though
They
like he
trained
obviously
together,
did.
so I mean, like he
Yeah,
knew.
so like
He
he
absolutely knew.
knew.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a really fun, like little character detail that you gave him. And also I thought showed an interesting side that when he does get really upset, he is like a person who just like kind of tries to hurt someone, right? But then immediately kind of like backed off, like, okay, like that was mean. I don't actually want to do this. But like I thought that was just like a very human thing to do, and like in a short time like established him really well. And then obviously like the last moment of him being like, no, you have to marry Roderick, like I give you my full blessing of swords. um I'll do stars first, and then if we have time for epilogues, I would love to do a little bit of an epilogue just
Yes,
because I kind of
absolutely.
want to give Archaud a bit of a happy ending, and also maybe see what Llurywenn and Roderick are up to. But my other stars, Jonn, yeah, I think you did really well with Riesling and sort of like the character development where he was so honest about being very vulnerable. Like, what can I do in the face of all of this? Like, I'm just really worried that this super powerful person who was taking care of so much stuff for me isn't here, and I'm so worried. And I thought that was really interesting. And I also really thought that Riesling's like immediate like for Mosray was super cute. They were just like so adorable, like so fast, but it made like total sense because it felt like Riesling is finally seeing someone like him, right? Like he's being honest, and there's someone who's honest too, and that was like so sweet to have that. Um, yeah, for Alex, I mean, I really loved you just rolling with the whole setup of like the sacrifice, and then like how that came to be. That felt like a very fantasy movie ending. It's like, oh, we can't have it all be romantic, and like there had to be like a little bit of a bittersweet. But it honestly for Perin, like it was touching, but I didn't necessarily feel sad because I felt like for Perrin, this is a good ending.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was
he is
going
where he
for.
needs to be. Like this is
Hmm.
where he truly belongs. Like
Hmm.
throughout this whole game, like it really felt like this realm or like this place isn't where he belongs. And he's trying so hard, but everyone around him and he himself could like feel that. And I felt like when you came in with the whole ship and being carried away, it really felt like, yes, it's sad because you're leaving the people that you love, but you are going to like the place you truly belong. And I thought like that's such a fantasy trope, and it's like so powerful. So I really love that. Um, yeah, I think those are like my big stars, and maybe I'll do an epilogue a bit later.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Oh my god. God.
I forgot to mention one thing. Sorry, I really love the Riesling to the rescue scene. That we
Yes.
got to do go like Hadoken and stuff. So,
Oh, that was
but
great. That
before
was
I forgot, I just
brilliant.
wanted to mention it.
Yeah, that was awesome. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
and also, tiny star for Matt. Sorry, just a quick shout out. I saw what you did there with the dandelion. I saw what you did there.
Callback from our other game, which has nothing to do with Hearts of Camelot. So,
Yeah, that happens.
yes, that happens.
Yeah. So yeah, I really liked Archaud. That was amazing because I was just like, I can't just make it easy, but it's just like, oh man, just like he legitimately had feelings, and for everyone involved, and you could tell that it was very, it was just like he was going through an emotional ringer, and I really felt like that was conveyed very well, Matt. Um, I really liked how the scene, like after 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 Riesling left and Archaud came in, and you had that heart to heart. I was just like, oof. It was just like, oh man, I was just really feeling for both Llurywenn and Archaud. I was like such a then it's like, and then when it was like, oh, but Roderick's outside, I was just like, oh man, it's like so much at once. It was just it was great. It was chef kiss. So and it's like I love Perin going to confront the Archbishop, and it's like I just love that this the direct to him and having the Archbishop just full villain monologue and have the dice say full villain monologue, and then it's like, oh, the most corrupt individual stabs probably the most uncorrupt individual. It is just like it was such a symbol for everything that was happening, and it was just like, oh. So that was a amazing scene, and it was like I thought that was an amazing moment, and so I loved that. So, but yeah, I like more. I am Marzi. I don't know. It's like I am not. I refuse to
Mazre.
accept that I said it wrong in character. I don't want to penalize Riesling for John's inability to say Mazre.
It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. I just thought it was cute. I was just like, I'm gonna run with it. She's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I enjoy having the scene of Mazre with like, yep, here we are once again with Riesling spying on the brothers, because apparently that's his life now. and having their own moments, like, well, I have to spy on them, so the only way I can have my own moments is the two of them while spying. So
right.
That was. So I just imagine two fake creatures up in a tree watching two humans have their moment and having like and chatting to each other about having commentary. Like it's like this is like Netflix. Like humans are like Netflix.
Yes.
So
the forest provided streaming service.
So I enjoyed it. It's like everything about today, like how the marriage went, how with Archaud stepping away and letting the two people who are in love be together. Perin last act being marrying the two of them before going to Avalon. And like having the Spirit Hawks return, that was like, I mean, I felt like that was inevitable, but it was still nice to see it. So, yeah, there's so many stars. So, yeah, I'll say wishes after because I know we wanted to talk about it a little bit. Those are my stars.
Yeah.
All right,
stars to Maki for being in attendance. I will say that.
I also have to give stars for Archaud. Just like mechanically it didn't happen, but I had Roderick mark ashamed for the whole session because holy crap, because yeah, that needed to happen. But Archaud, yeah, so that went really well. I really liked Riesling approaching everything with like he was very upfront about, this is me, and I know I'm not Alacritus, but this is me. And it went surprisingly well for him because he discovered he has a lot more power than, like, as Riesling than he had as, wearing the disguise, which was really cool. And then, yeah, just everything with Llurywenn. And oh my god, Perin and the bishop. I am still not over that. It was so good. Oh, and yeah, perfectly timed snake eyes, but yeah.
Yeah.
I was so happy when I saw it. I was like, oh, it's 11. And then I looked at, oh no, there's another roll underneath it.
I was just like, what? Whoa.
I was like, never mind. But yeah, narratively, it worked great.
Narratively,
that was the perfect double ones.
Yeah. Great timing. Absolutely brilliant timing.
So many highlights. Oh, and the plot twist that it was Gowder all along. Oh my god.
Yeah, my face was like, What?
I can't wait to watch the rewatch.
That I'm
'Cause
like,
I feel
oh,
like-
that makes perfect
Because
sense.
I'm staring right into the camera to make sure that you know that I'm like looking at you all like, I guess the cat's out of the bag. It's me. You know? Oh my gosh. That was the best. Because actually, to be honest, I'm going to say it out loud. It's like, I didn't know who Alacritus was going to be at the end. It was only because of the twist of like, okay, who's left? And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. It's Gowder. Because of
It
course
does make
he's
a lot
gonna
of sense, yeah.
because of course he's gonna pin it on Riesling because he doesn't want to be, you know, outed. It's like of course he's gonna suspect you don't smell like him. Of course he's gonna do that to you. But it worked out, and like you know, I can give you an epilogue reason why. Like you know, Gowder / Alacritus did what he did. But yeah. I mean, just again, brilliant Mario bursting stars for every single person because you played your characters to the hilt. You were reacting and responding just as your characters would, and you made it very easy for my NPCs to be as noble and as villainous as they were, and just you know bring out the best in these last scenes for the finale. I mean, I applaud all of you because the role play was beautiful and wonderful. So, yeah. I mean, I had so much fun, and I was really worried. I had a pit in my stomach of like, oh my God, how is this plane gonna land? And it did. That plane landed so smooth. It was like butter. It was like so good. So, thank you. This was like one of the best role-playing experiences I've had, and I'm just so stoked. This is so good. Can't wait for other people to see it. So, yeah. Slowly putting it on my YouTube. We'll see how people react. Get people to watch it. That's the big one.
Yeah.
I've had
well, go
people
ahead.
asking for the VODs
No,
for this.
it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, that's probably my only wish because I do feel like this is an excellent campaign and you know we got everything we wanted out of it. But I want to hear what other people think about it for sure. You know,
Yeah,
that'd be
absolutely.
great.
Yeah, we need the feedback and just to find out. It's like, well, what do you think of the story? Like, how do you think the gameplay went? And we tried to play as best as possible to this, you know.
So
Not everybody
person
can have a
in
requisite
6
cat,
months
but
or whatever. If you're watching this, please put something in the comments about how
yes,
great you think the characters are, specifically
yes,
Perin, and
Yes.
yes,
we'll be happy to see it.
absolutely. Like and subscribe. Absolutely, please
Like
do.
and subscribe. And ring
That
the
should-
bell.
That should be
Please
the
tell us how
direction
awesome
in the
Perin
beginning.
is. Perin is awesome.
Perrin is
Yes.
awesome.
Perin is
See
awesome.
more videos up in this corner here.
If you like videos
gonna
like
have
this,
its own-
you should definitely look for.
Please like edit a little text that just says like you cannot.
I mean, like, you know, you guys are making it go into like Hearts of Camelot making its own playlist. I mean, like, which would include the previous series, but I mean that's okay because you know, Princess Bride is not going to be mixed up with the other one, so that's fine. And yeah, this was so damn good. Oh my God, I hope you guys are proud of yourselves. You deserve to be proud of yourselves because this was amazing. And it stemmed from the For the Queen prequel, which also in itself was amazing. So we saw a full arc from, you know, that into what this is. Amazing.
Yeah, that's cool that we were able to reincorporate so many things from session 0, you know, to the very end. That was really neat. I love that.
Yeah. So
You want
good.
to epilogue any of
Yes.
the characters?
I will. Okay, so I will do Gowder / Alacritus first. Sitting Riesling down once Riesling takes his joyride with Mazre and you know comes back and what have you as everybody's packing up, getting ready to go back to where they need to. And yeah, I mean like Riesling when you come upon Gowder, you know he's kind of like up in the trees, contemplating things and just like smiles when he sees you. And he says, you probably have quite a few questions. What is the first question on your mind, my friend?
Oh, we're gonna actually roleplay it. I thought you were just gonna tell me. Like,
I mean, I could if you want. I mean, like, we can make it quick.
no. I was just like, because I think his first question is, why would you do this to me? What? Why would you do this and put me through this? Oh,
I
Magister.
Magister no longer. In my
I was
travels, I was trying to find a way to be more effective. I was trying to regain some of the youth that I had. You think I was just a magic user this whole time, my whole life. No, I was active once. I managed to tree dance and hunt and before the few hundred years where I learned how to wield the forces of the arcane. And I managed to find a way to do it. I regained my youth, but I knew that I could not keep my stature as the Magister, becoming this. So I decided to be someone else. I decided to be Gauta. And it's been wonderful. Coming back to Escavalon, meeting Humphrey. I've been alone. Except for you, of course. And I appreciate your company, but having fallen into this new persona, I could not come back and be the Magister again, especially after finding camaraderie and other things with Humphrey. I've enjoyed my life. And I'm sorry I put you through that, but I knew that you would be the one to get the job done. I'm sorry that I got you in trouble. I'm sorry that I, well, made people suspicious of you, but I had to. If I hadn't, then they might have just dismissed you as a doddering fool, because that's what I was becoming.
Well, you've been a monster to me personally. I've known you all this time. I've been with you since were young the first time. But I suppose I see your point, I guess. But I feel like you could have trusted me to if by telling me the more. But I suppose things worked out so your mech so I can't very well question your machinations, even though you aggravate me. And you have for some time.
I know. I have been a very poor Magister and an even worse friend.
Well,
I appreciate that.
now that you have it to do over, you'll be a better friend, of course, right?
You still want to be my friend?
Well, I mean, I've known you for so long. It'd be so much wasted effort if I just discarded you as a friend now.
Well, I mean, if it means anything, then you don't have to be my constant companion anymore, obviously. Evidently,
Well,
you have a companion of your own now. He's like looking down at the ground, and maybe Masre is just kind of waiting patiently or something for you. And
I'm keeping your clothes. They're actually quite comfortable once I got them sized properly.
that is fine. I am never returning to the Magister title, nor am I returning to the Order. They were also getting rather insidious as well. I didn't realize the depth of their treachery until that apprentice came along and struck me from behind. I guess I've been out of practice.
I liked her up until she betrayed me. It was really unfortunate.
Well, unfortunately, I did not know. Otherwise, I would have warned you. But again, I'm glad to see that you do not have to worry about being alone in the world.
Yes, well, I appreciate you that you I appreciate that. I am glad that I won't either. I will I will miss spying on your people for you. It was very entertaining at times,
It is, isn't it?
amazingly so.
Well, I'm sure you'll have plenty of opportunities. The forest gets wanderers all the time, as well I know. Be happy. Enjoy your life, Riesling. It has truly been a pleasure to know you.
Same to you, former Magister.
Gouda. It was my name. It was my first name before I became just Alacritus.
Fair enough, Gouder. Well, I have someone waiting for me.
As I do too.
Well, we shouldn't keep them waiting too any longer.
Not at
It
all.
was good to see you again.
Good seeing you too, Riesling. May the wind carry you to prosperity. And this is where he will tree dance his way away. And then he hears Humphrey's, like, kind of teasing tone. It's like, I'm ready, wait, yards ahead of you. Come on now. And then Mazre's like, waiting for you at the bottom of the tree.
Yeah, I think Riesling just drops right out of the tree and kind of like his resized Alacritus robes billowing as he lands next to her.
That seems very heroic. Are you going to do that often?
Oh, if you like it, I do it all the time. Should I climb back up the tree?
Do it. Do it.
He said, scene will end with Riesling scrambling back up the tree.
Fade into the next epilogue. Who's up?
I can do mine, unless someone else wants to go first. In the castle of Escavalon stands a throne, no longer alone. For the king is unmarried, but he is not alone. And as we see the camera sort of pan up, where before we saw the cold stone and just like the furs on the walls, the pillars are now climbing with flowers, those beautiful iridescent, like vivid pops of colors all around. There is a hearth, like right where the king sits. And next to his throne is like a slightly smaller, like throne chair, whatever, for his most trusted advisor, where Princess Llurywenn sits with him and holds counsel with him. And of course, always back by her side, where she is Sir Roderick, who I imagine is like always, in a ceremonial way, kind of like standing there guard, still a champion. And we see, we see the daily goings on of the castle. We see people come before them with matters of law, of justice, grievances, things about the castle and the lands that must be addressed by the king and his advisor. And when it is done, we sort of cut to a scene of Llurywenn, like, again in like travel gear. She has a backpack and all of that on. She's clearly ready to travel. Roderick is by her side. As I think, well, they do spend much time in Escavalon by Archaud's side. They also spend a lot of time traveling to re-educate people about the Spirit Hawks and about Saint Adamas, and sort of not quite missionaries, but sort of like make sure that the kings and queens don't forget the people, that they are not trapped in a castle where they might forget what it is like to live as normal people. And I think we see like Archaud, like sort of if you want to kind of segue into your epilogue Noctua, I think we kind of see Archaud like give Roderick like a little friendly tap on the shoulder and just like say, keep her safe. But it's like definitely like not a promise, but like the way that you two say goodbye now.
Yeah. And as that happens, Roderick's always, I always do. I think, yeah, Roderick is traveling with Llurywenn. It's really educational for him as well because he doesn't know a lot about the Spirit Hawks. So it's a matter of like him learning about the land and how to respect it and being able to bring that message to the people. I think as they go along, Roderick's going to make it a point to visit the religious establishments like the abbeys and things and be very clear about, you know, your bishop committed treason. Treason will not be tolerated. If any of you bear such thoughts, you will face the king's justice. And it's like this looming threat of like, I will eradicate this from the kingdom. Um, so yeah, I think one of their journeys is going to be to the Abbey, like where Perin is and where Adamas fell. And yeah, of just like Perin was the best that your Abbey has ever produced, just as Bishop Saymond was the worst. You may choose your path forward, but I truly believe you are capable of making more devotees like Perin. Honor him and what he did for you. And like, just as Perin put forth uh the not campaign, but like he's the one who tried to make sure that Adamas was canonized. Roderick's kind of doing that for Perin a little bit of like, of all of the religious people here, Perin was the best of you. Never forget it.
Thank you so much. I think you know, I already did a good epilogue for my character, but just as a closer on to follow up with what Noctua is saying, you know, maybe a couple years later, we see there's some young scribes between the ages of 8 to 12, and they're being taught in a, you know, medieval-esque classroom. And we see the book that they're learning from is Perin's Bestiary, and it's been finished with illustrations of all of you. So.
Oh, I'm hearing the music and see the pages turn.
It's so sweet.
Oh God.
High-pitched squee here. I don't want to blast my mic, but
Oh no, I do.
high-pitched
Me too.
squee here.
Me too. Me too. For sure. Oh God, that's so good. Oh my God, you guys are all great. Holy crap.
Probably does that thing where the
It's-
closing credits, like the last page closes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been so long since I played a campaign where people have like genuinely happy endings, and I'm like, this is wrong. Jazy, this is wrong. What are you doing? I'm like narrating the cutest girl in the world, like decorating a palace with flowers. I cannot convey to all of you how deeply wrong this is and how happy I am about it.
Like, where's the twist going to happen?
Right? I keep being like, but Llurywenn is actually a good person. That's not allowed.
You are allowed to have a happy ending. Like, you as a player are allowed to give your character a happy ending.
You can
so
you can
weird.
call.
I can't do this.
I mean, I'm hoping this falls under the category of like characters you've known and loved, because I mean,
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
goodness.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
I do love how wildly different this is in
Yes.
tone than what I usually play.
Well, you know what? Like, see, now you can say you definitely have range, because it's like, you know, you got tragedy down. You got like, you know, horror and tragedy down. Perfect. Now you have like actual happiness and joy. Oh my God. It's beautiful. Totally beautiful. Oh man. Oh.
Like horror and gore, meh, whatever. Like happiness, oh, I can't take it.
I can't.
It makes me feel weird.
I am
Happiness, I
that kind
can't
of
take it.
person. I
Yes.
am that kind of person.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've never like physically felt like role playing so much that when doing like the romantic scenes, I can describe like the goriest body horror and be like, yeah, whatever, we're cool. And then I was like, you know, like glances up at Roderick and blushes, and my whole body was like pretzeling into the void.
Yeah. Oh my God, the romance. Okay, I never thought I would get such a reaction from like kissing the back of the girl's knuckles. That's it. And it's like courtly and proper,
It's
and
the
it's like,
best trope. It's the best
oh,
trope. It's so good.
Yeah. And just the way that we played with the scene with like Archaud and Llurywenn, I mean, like that was like the best for me, like because I could like feel like I'm in it, but I could also see it, right? I mean, like it was
Mhm.
just like a nice dual thing going on, and it was just really rich, really
God, I
intense.
don't think I've like suffered that much in a role playing scene than when Llurywenn had to break Archaud's heart. Like
Or
again,
even
I can be horrible to characters, but like an actual good man and being like, I'm sorry, I just don't love you. I was like, oh my God. Oh,
I could have murdered Archaud, but breaking his heart, I can't do it.
right?
Right.
If she was like, aha, actually, I just want your kingdom, and you walked into my trap like that, totally cool. Would not have felt a thing, but like, you're so nice, but I just don't love you. It's like, oh.
Ouch, yeah. That's
yeah,
rough.
yeah, he was. Yeah, his story, his backstory was
His poor
unfolding as
dude.
we talked. I was just like,
Mhm.
oh no, he's a miserable.
Especially like you just revealed like what hours earlier that your mom died. And now I have to be like, by the way, I don't want to marry you because I kind of want to marry your brother, and also your other brother is dying. Like, Jesus.
I was just like, oh, he's just had a bad. Oh man,
He had a tough day, that's for
He had a
sure.
really
yeah,
rough
a
day.
lot happened.
That was a lot.
I guess he's
That
the
was a lot.
Punisher now. He's one bad day.
I was
I mean,
actually
testament to his character that he made it out okay and that he's happy now.
I was convinced that he would either be working with like the wizard mercenaries or the bishop, because I'm like, there's no way he's innocent in all of this. Like, here's the man who would be king, and we did the role, and he's innocent. And I'm like, oh my God, that makes it so much worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was perfect. Absolutely
Yeah.
perfect.
Same with like the inside role. Like, wait, does he actually want to marry Llurywenn? It's like, yeah, he's been crushing on her since childhood. Like, God dang it. Dang it.
So beautiful. I was so happy when that happened. I was like, yep.
Like,
Oh,
not gonna
so
be.
good.
Oh, you thought you had taken the easy route? No, he
No,
genuinely
no.
decent.
But
Like,
I love that.
no.
Yeah.
Because it's like such a pet peeve of mine when in like a lot of movies with love triangles, what they do is like in the end battle, like one of like the one not chosen like dies so that they can have like the guilt-free option, like, oh well, he's not there anymore, so now it's okay for us to be together. But that's like such a cop-out.
It
So I'm
wasn't such.
really
It is.
Agreed,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I'm
wouldn't
really
have done
happy
it.
that we didn't do that.
No, I
Like
wouldn't
I
have done
know
it.
why people like it because that makes like your characters, I guess, like the nicest version of them because they didn't have to do anything that's like a bit
Right.
but yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The characters are so much more interesting this way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard
They
to
have
be
to
good.
confront it. You
Yeah.
don't get to
Nobody
just
nobody
be
understands that. Like it's hard to
Mhm.
be good. And it's
Yeah,
like, you know,
for
when
sure.
you're good, it's like, oh shit, I gotta like uphold my code. Damn, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I gotta talk to him and I gotta be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh,
it was even more heart-wrenching because you had to be honest. I was like, yes.
yeah.
All right.
And
So
the
what I'm gonna do at the moment, I'm going to like, you know, we're gonna sign off. Happy gaming on everything that you're doing from now on. It was such a pleasurable, fantastic finale. And then I'm going to turn on a new recording so we can talk about the game itself, like for this playtest. So this will
Okay.
be a separate recording that will go to Adrian. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. Thank you all very much, and happy gaming for all the future games. And may we play together again. Yes, absolutely.